Evidence of early metalworking in Arctic Canada and European technology was involved. A new study conducted by Dr. Patricia Sutherland, an honorary research fellow at the University of Aberdeen, Scotland, examines new evidence related to an early pre-Columbian European presence in Arctic Canada. Dr. Sutherland spent 15 years recovering other specimens in Arctic Canada that resemble those used by Europeans of the Vikings and medieval periods. Now, I'm going to make another video because most of us don't even know that North America was not first found by Columbus and his group of people. Actually, there was a monk and his fellow monks that came from the British Isles in order to bring Christianity to North America. That happened in the 5th, 6th century AD. And I'm going to make another video of that saint now, because we have to know about this. They actually went from Ireland, Scotland, to the Hebrides Islands, from there they went on to Iceland, from there to Greenland, and then of course to Baffin Island, Newfoundland, and North America. But going back to this, Dr. Sutherland spent 15 years recovering other specimens in Arctic Canada that resemble those used by Europeans of the Viking and medieval periods. Dr. Sutherland's team based the study on artifacts from archaeological sites that have been assumed to relate to pre-Inuit indigenous occupations of the region in the centuries around 1000 AD, have recently been recognized as having been manufactured using European technologies. The Viking Age Norse established settlements in southwestern coast of Greenland about 1000 AD, and these continued to be occupied until the early 15th century. Now let's remember that when Europeans went to North America, they did find what they thought were Native Americans who spoke English already. And again, the next video will be on that monk who brought Christianity to North America in the 6th century. Now, the Viking Age Norse established settlements in the southwestern coast of Greenland about 1000 AD. These continued to be occupied until the early 15th century. Although less than 400 kilometers separate the North Greenland colonies from the coast of Arctic Canada, the explorations to the west of Greenland are described in Icelandic sages. Surprisingly little is known of ventures to North America. The Inuit and earlier peoples of Arctic Canada cold-hammered meteoric iron and native copper in order to make tools, but neither they nor other indigenous people of North America practice high-temperature metalworking. The results of the recent research show that the earliest evidence of high-temperature non-ferrous metalworking in North America to the north of what is now Mexico. The object that was found by archaeologists a half-century ago has now been recognized as further evidence of a Viking or medieval Norse presence in Arctic Canada during the centuries around 1000 AD. The artifact was originally excavated during the 1960s and identified as a fragment of a small soapstone pot made by local indigenous people, the Paleo-Eskimo, who occupied the area in the centuries around 1000 AD. And now researchers have employed scanning electron microscopy to determine if metal traces were present in a small stone container about 48 millimeters tall from the archaeological site on southern Baffin Island. The Vikings and their medieval Norse descendants established colonies in southwestern Greenland about 1000 AD and occupied the region for over 400 years. After more than a decade of research on material from eastern Arctic, the evidence indicates that a significant early European presence in Arctic Canada. They found that the interior of the vessel contained fragments of bronze, an alloy of copper and tin, as well as small spherules of glass, which are formed when rock is heated to high temperatures. The object is a crucible for melting bronze, likely in order to cast it into small tools or ornaments. The crucible appears to have been broken while in use, suggesting it was likely used at the locality where it was found. Among the Paleo-Eskimo artifacts, Sutherland has identified a range of specimens like lengths of yarn spun from the fur of local animals, whetstones bearing metal traces from tools that had been sharpened, and tally sticks of the type used for recording transactions. Interestingly, these artifacts resemble those used by Europeans of the Viking and medieval periods. The Vikings and their medieval Norse descendants established colonies in southwestern Greenland about 1000 AD and occupied the region for over 400 years. After more than a decade of research on material from eastern Arctic, the evidence indicates a significantly early European presence in Arctic Canada. The Norse would likely have traveled to the area in order to obtain furs and walrus ivory, either by hunting or by trading with indigenous people. And the crucible adds an intriguing new element to this emerging chapter in the early history of Northern America, Dr. Patricia Sutherland said. And this is from Message to Eagle. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.